Hi there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Olusegun Yekami of Nosa Capital, coming to you another cool, almost cold evening in the Southern Hemisphere. Okay, so it's going to be a very quick one today. We're going to be looking at ADA, Bitcoin, and of course, the mighty Ethereum itself. So let's get started. And as usual, as you all know, I always start with the higher time frames, and of course, I've got the Ichimoku, as you can expect, to be on my charts. And as you can see, Kijun-sen, Tenkan-sen, Chikou-span, and of course the price action all above the cloud, which says it is bullish. Now, even though the cloud is not at an angle, it's kind of rather flat here in the clouds. I think that's because, as you can see, there's been almost like a kind of stalled movement here, but as well as the price action here. So those are reflecting some 52 days into the future. Anyway, worst case scenario based on that, we should have worst case scenario about $1.29 if it ever falls back to the cloud, but I doubt if that's going to happen. Chikou-span here, as you can see, is running free. Nothing stuck between the price action, and this is very important. It needs to run free, as I've always said. Tenkan-sen is just above the Kijun-sen, so that definitely indicates a kind of bullish, although we need to keep an eye out. I suppose to some extent there's a little bit of exhaustion within the market because it's made one hell of a rally. If you look at it, particularly the last week's candlestick, that's just a massive move there. So let's go down to the 1 day very quickly, and as you can see, definitely bullish. As you can see right here, seriously bullish. Price action stands alone right out of the clouds. Chikou-span running free, Tenkan-sen above the Kijun-sen, and best of all, you can see that the cloud or the Kumo here is at an angle, which is telling you that it's an upward movement. Now, if you look at the indicator at the bottom here, which is the CHOP RSI, LRSI, which is the choppiness index combined with the Lager RSI. The choppiness is telling us it's about 39.13. Now that's just barely above the 38.2. Now, which means that there's some level of exhaustion within the market. Now we have to keep an eye out for that, just to make sure that it's not a bad thing, because if that keeps going lower, then I promise you that you probably see a lower price as well. But let's just keep our fingers crossed that it's going to be the bulls will step up, although in the market you never know what's going to happen. And let's drop down to the 4 hours very quickly. Bullish, as you can see, although here, as you can see, the Kijun-sen is flat. Price action not too far from the Kijun-sen, which means that it still has an opportunity to keep going up. Chikou-span is running free. Cloud at an angle, but now it's getting flat, which means it could attract the price to it. But what we need to worry about is this price here on the Kijun-sen, which is about 1.966. Price has kind of come down, but there's been a kind of fight back, as you can see in this last. It's a kind of doji here, so we just have to wait and see whether things will continue to go up, because as you can see at this angle here, you can see that this is more or less almost like it's bottoming, and it's kind of the bulls are kind of fighting back. So let's just see what happens with that one. And remember that to get a change in price direction, it always comes from the inside out. In other words, from the lower time frames snaking itself right up to the upper time frames or the higher time frames. So let's wait and see what happens there. Okay, let's switch over to Bitcoin, the mighty Bitcoin itself. Apparently, Bitcoin's dominance in the market is about 42.6 or 7%, something like that. So that's been a massive fall, considering that I think about 2 weeks ago it was about 47%, or 46% or something like that. So let's just see how this continues. And we quickly go back to the 1 week chart. Everything is above the cloud. The cloud is no more at an angle, is almost running flat. But the problem I have here, and I've mentioned it before, is twofold. One, this price is caught, the Chiku span is caught up within the price. This always, most of the time, can either act as resistance or support. In this case, it's acting as resistance. And that resistance you can see here with the Kijun-sen being flat and the price struggling to go above the Kijun-sen. So we shall see. The second thing that bothers me here is that the Kijun-sen is above the Tenkan-sen. So this does show some level of weakness within the bullish, the overall bullish market of Bitcoin. But the market is the market; it will always do what it wants to do. Let's see how that goes. Let's come down to the daily chart, and the daily chart looks much better. Kumo at an angle, Tenkan-sen above the Kijun-sen, Chiku span running free. The kind of worry here is if you look at the distance between the price and the Kijun-sen, that's about 13.28% difference. It's nothing to worry about at the moment, but it's something you should keep an eye on. If these two, if the price action is too far from the Kijun-sen, what happens is that the Kijun-sen tends to attract the price back towards it. That means in this particular place, if in this particular case, it's a fall in price. So we need to keep our eye out on that. The second thing we need to look at is the energy within the market, and this is down to about 44.99, just above, still above the 38.2, but you need to keep an eye out on that. Finally, we go down to the 4 hours. Again, this is bullish. Quickly looking at the energy within the market, energy is about 59.17%. That means that there's plenty of energy within this market. Remember, the energy does not determine the direction of the market, so please bear that in mind. So just as it has energy to go up, it also has the energy to come down, so we must be very careful there. Chiku span still running free, Tenkan-sen above the Kijun-sen. There's a kind of little doji there looking green, possibly with the Kijun-sen acting almost like support here. As you can see, the prices have kind of maintained this position at about 45,926, came through it and has gone back up. So I suppose you should keep your eye out for that 45,000 range, and hopefully all will be well in that department. In other words, the price will not fall below that. So I think that's the price you should be looking out for. If it falls below that, then I think you should begin to get concerned. Looking at the energy within the market at 59.17, there's plenty of energy in this market. So let's hope the energy is to push the price up and not down. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, we are looking at Ethereum. The mighty Ethereum itself has start by hitting the 1 week. Let's remove some of this. Let's remove this so we can see, and let's take out that's better. So in the weekly chart, as you can see here, everything is above the clouds. The clouds getting a little bit flat there. Concern here is the Tenkan-sen of the Kijun-sen, but I don't see much worry because we've got the last 4 candles are up. This one is coming down a little bit by price. I think that the Kijun-sen could act as support at about 2,793. I suppose if things begin to turn, it might hit that, and just hope. Let's just kind of see if the Kijun-sen will act as support at this level. Energy within the market is about 55.08, and that means that there's plenty of energy, plenty of fuel within the market. And so let's just hope that the market goes up instead of down. But like I've always said, you train the market that's in front of you. Hope is eternal. We shouldn't be I shouldn't even be using that word hope. And let's hit the 1 day. Again, the mighty Ethereum shows that it is definitely bullish. Chico's band running free, although it's pointing downwards. That reflects the price here on the last candle. As you can see that running parallel there. And then as you can see here, price is coming down. I think the 10% is going to be acting as a little bit of a resistance at $30,116. Kindersen not too far away, which means it's not necessarily in an overbought situation, but if that gets further away, then we should begin to worry. Cloud is pointing at an angle, that means it's upwards, still going upwards, so that's a very good sign. Energy within the market is about 49.36. There's still a little bit of energy, still above 38.2. Let's just see what happens over time, and keep an eye out for 3,116 as our price. If it breaks that, I think the next spot would be to hit the 3,000 level, but let's just see what happens. Finally, let's hit the 4-hour chart. And this is also bullish. As you can see, everything's above the cloud. The cloud is still at an angle, or just slightly losing that angle, as you can see here. The Kindersen has acted almost as support at about 3,157. Let's hope that this continues. Chico span is concerning because it's finding itself almost within the price action here, and the price action, as I said, could act as support or resistance to the price movement. So far things are looking bullish. There was an analysis that I saw at one, I think it was yesterday, that I saw about Ethereum, and let's just go back to the 1-day chart, and if let's take out that and just use the using the fibs, let's see what we get. So we are looking at the possibility of 3,776. Let's do it this way. Let's use the let's use the extension, and let's see what we get using the extension. And we come there. So currently, okay, we're above the 2, so this was 2.414 here, which means we're looking at about 3,419. I think that's a little bit more realistic as far as I'm concerned. So if it starts going up, we should expect it to hit $3,419 and not necessarily before any major retracement. If we continue to find resistance at about the 3,157 range. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I thought I should make a very quick analysis. And as always, keep your eyes and ears open and your trading sharp. Have a good one.